Iko Nini. So leo itakuwa a very significant day come to the 2027 race. And the reason why I'm saying that ni leo kuna by elections kadhaa zile zina happen. Kuna Narok, kuna Kasipul, kuna Mbeere North, and the one that kuna Malava, but the one I want to really concentrate on ni Mbeere North, because Mbeere North is very important, because who's going to win? Is it the DCP candidate, meaning that Gachagua will have won, or is it the UDA candidate, meaning that Ruto would have won? And also, if Ruto wins, haijalishi margin, ama mtu wa UDA win, margin haijalishi. It's just going to be like, Ruto still has part of the mountain. But if Gachagua's candidate wins, then the margin has to be looked at. How big is the margin? If the margin is too small, then there are people who can argue that Ruto still has part of the mountain, and that's going to make it super interesting. But apart from that, of course, kumekuwa na hizi accusations za who's planning to rig and who's not planning to rig, and it's so interesting seeing some of the people who back in the days used to thump their chest and say the way rigging, kama nini unafikiri umeibiwa siwe pia uibe. Those same people right now are crying. For example, Honorable Moses Kuria alikuwa ameandika to all agents monitoring tomorrow's by-elections, kindly ensure that there is an agent next to the polling clerk with a biometric electronic voter identification machine. There is a plan to issue ballot papers to people who are not in the registers. Thank me later. And this is funny coming from Moses Kuria. Why? Because in 2017, what happened? The Supreme Court ilibaki imeannul elections. Alafu akina Moses Kuria and other MPs rushed to parliament and changed the constitution so that biometrics si lazima. Najua, they put hiyo wakasema mambo ya manual register. Now this is coming back to bite you. This is what I normally say, never support an injustice because you're in a winning position. So there was that. But apart from that, of course, the government is also trying to intimidate the opposition. Najua, hizi ni zile tactics za African governments, zile tactics za Iko Nini. So what has happened? All of a sudden, wanasema that there's going to be chaos in Mbeere North, and what have they done about it is just unleash a lot of cops there. So yes, wacha tusikize.
A section of the UDA leadership has accused the united opposition, led by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, of planning to create chaos in tomorrow's Mbeere North by-election, while also blaming the government for the unrest. Security has since been beefed up across Embu County, with police mounting roadblocks on all major routes into and out of the area. As you'll hear now from our political affairs reporter Emmanuel To, the IEBC has completed the dispatch of all election material ahead of tomorrow's polls.
So yeah, you know what's going to happen Masaiza Mbeere North. So to bring some form of intimidation, kuna vile government up imeunleash makarao, because this specific one is very sensitive, because you can see the government has really invested in this election. Kulikuwa na ubuda anaitwa Kindiki, who has spent like a very significant part of the past month just in Mbeere North. And he feels like this is a way to repay maybe Ruto and show Ruto that, you know, I'm bringing something to the table, considering that ODM on the other side is looking at the running mate slot. So this is very important. But then for Rigathi Gachagua, this is important because he needs to show that he's the kingpin wa Mlima na hakuna mtu ameguza Mlima. So that is there. But still, other places zile wanafaitia, of course, wanafaitia Narok. Na ikikam to stories za Narok, kuna vile Rigathi alienda pa tweet ilikuwa ni, I am now without an iota of doubt persuaded that this regime has gone mad and has lost its moral compass. Throwing caution to the wind, heavily armed police officers and state-sponsored militia have stormed the home of our DCP candidate, Honorable Douglas Masikonde, in Narok town, and violently attacked him and his agents who are undergoing training. Damn, okay. It's now clear that plans to stuff ballot papers are complete and our agents are being intimidated to subvert the sovereign will of the people. This is an attempt to deny the people of Narok their constitutional right to elect a candidate of their choice and to force the UDA candidate upon them. I appeal to the people of Narok town to stay calm and turn out to vote despite the many hurdles being placed in their way. So hii ni kitu moja ile nani alibaki ameeka. And yeah, it's interesting seeing this coming from a former deputy president. So Does this mean that monkey business has always happened in this country, that you are stuffed boxes and all that? I don't know. But yes, today going to be a very interesting day, and looking forward to it. But talking of elections and talking of people who should not have been elected, because sometimes kuna time wase uongea unashinda like, what the hell is this person talking about? And one such person ni Esther Passaris. So Esther Passaris jana alikuwa on the floor of the house, alafu akaamua kufanya, unajua ile raya inaitangwa RAPCHA inasemanga kukalamba vile inafaa. And what was she talking about? She was just talking bullshit. Because uni mother a benefit from democracy, but let's listen to her.
I want Kenyans to understand, just look at your own house. You know, the one you're managing. Like, I have my house, I have my business, and I struggle. And now you have this one man called William Samoei Ruto, who dared to run for president of Kenya. And now he's the president of the country. And we expect him to be a miracle worker. Even the things that you should be asking God, you're expecting William Samoei Ruto to give you. I mean, he is working very hard. And he's bold. You know, for me, I mean, if he has to, you know, there's some people say, you know, he's a dictator. But if you have a benevolent dictator and he gets things done, it is not bad for a country. A democracy that doesn't deliver, I would rather a benevolent dictator.
Ajay bullshit unibambaga sana. And people talk about benevolent dictator. You are either a dictator or you are not a dictator. There's nothing like a benevolent dictator. Dictators believe in using violence to get their way. So people can argue that Magufuli was a benevolent dictator. What did that come with? 19 bullets sprayed on umse anaitwa nani? Tundu Lissu. No freedom of expression. Wase wa kuhepa country wanabaki wamenda wamesika asylum, wasekaki na Roma Mkatoliki. So what is so benevolent about that? We have a democracy, and since we have it, if you do the right thing, no one is going to oppose you. Hasa ubongaga nikawa Kenya just want to oppose. No, we don't just want to oppose. We want to also enjoy the country and be like, you know what, everything is working out.
And at the end of the day, sometimes I feel our constitution lets us down. It lets us down because every time you want to move, Nairobi is full of garbage. You cannot even fix the problem of garbage. Why? Because every time the governor is trying to give the contract out, somebody goes to court.
Nasikia jo. Sikia. So now tunataka ku blame simple things, as simple as kumove garbage. Someone goes to court. Which court? Garbage, something that should be done by the county itself. Someone goes to court to stop garbage collection. Ushaisikia? Ulisikia wapi?
So when they go to court, it stops the whole contract. So for me, when it came to housing, the journey that the president walked, because I'm in the housing committee, to get housing, you know, to make sure we had that fund dedicated to housing. Everybody laughed and rubbished him, and everybody starts thinking, oh, he's going to make millions. You know, maybe he owns a cement company, maybe he owns a steel company. Let me tell you, look in your neighborhood and look at the houses, the dignity that our people are going to live in. Mukuru, 14,000 houses, is going to be a whole town in itself with every facility. I mean, Kenyans, wake up, start praying for your president, start helping him, start seeing how you can contribute. We need to have the resources.
So, Mukuru kwa jenga. This I've seen these things before. Tulionaga ile ya Kibra, ile that one that was launched ya Kibera. Ilikuwa when kama 2009, I don't remember when this was launched, but and ukienda Masaiza Kibra uko napata wajaga kwa hizi nyumba za Raila zishafunguliwa. Ukienda hizo hao saa hizi, most of them people could not afford electricity, people could not afford what they look like. It's just another slum, and that's what's going to happen with Mukuru kwa jenga. As long as you've not empowered the people enough to, do you know how expensive electricity is in this country? And then you want to tell us that those buildings will have a lift. Hii lift nani atakuwa kilipia hii stima? Ama somehow KPLC itakubali hii lift itumie free steam. That's number one. Number two, I don't even want to go to the fact that sisi wenyewe kaa Kenya tukuwagi serious. So siwezi kuwa surprise kuna raya zitakuwa zikikojoa kwa hiyo lift. Kuna hata raya za Shonde. That's how much. Like, and now try to imagine a lot of people watatumia hiyo lift. Hapo kuna stima, wakiingia kwa nyumba kuna stima. So kutakuwa gana pia tapping ya stima ile itakuwa hapo. Why? Because the people themselves have not been economically empowered. But let's assume everything will be okay. So wacha tuendelee. Maybe I'm the one who's pessimistic.
We need to make sure we raise the money without raising the taxes. But you can't say we don't want taxes and we don't want a fund.
Ni taxes ama ni taxes? Umadhana ni udhi. Cement ama cement. Whatever. Damn, man. Although you see... Okay. You get it?
We don't want to sell some of our assets to raise the money so that we can become independent as a country. So I believe that the president of Kenya now is on the right path for this country. We're going to move from poverty to prosperity. The dreams of our forefathers are going to be attained, but they will only be attained if we stop having this culture of social media. The only thing that works and moves and trends is when you hate somebody, when you insult somebody. Why not try to make things trend with praising somebody? Why
do we need to praise somebody, man? Okay, I'm someone even who has a problem with religion, because religions also have this praising thing that makes no sense. But why do we need to praise the president? He's paid a salary. Hapa Kenya, he's busy repairing a house that is not his, using billions, while other facilities that could use the money are not getting the billions. But he's a billionaire who still takes a salary. Unajua, at least majuu unakuwa na the Trumps of this world who I think take $1. Cheki, because they feel like they're serving the country. But why do we need to praise him? This is the nonsense that comes from this country.
Why not try to come up with ideas on how you can improve your country?
You come up with ideas on how to shut the... Hey, yes, what about that? What about that? Because we don't need to praise the president. This thing that we need to praise him, like, you became the president. You have to know that at any point you become a president in this country, you have to know that half the country hates your guts. That's what our elections inakuwaga hivi, close evil. So you have to know half the country hate your guts. Then another thing that happens is with Ruto, of course the protests happened, alafu people ended up being more socially conscious, and that means another bigger chunk that even used to love him now hate him. So if he's looking for praise, all he needs to do is do his freaking job and the praise will come. Najua, the praise will come. But saizi wacha tubonge juu ya health kidogo. So come to stories of health, kumekuwa na doubts about the new leader wa ODM, Oburu Odinga, and the Sun yesterday decided to release a statement. And yeah, nataka tubonge juu hii, alafu tubonge juu stories of medicine, cause damn, kuna story ya pia nilichekia medicine kwa zile za. What are we using?
It's been a beehive of activity for the family, and especially now our leader, who is the Honorable Dr. Oburu Odinga. And then we've had functions all over the place to condole with our people, the population, the wananchi, for Baba in Homa Bay, in Migori, and everywhere. And we also had ODM at 20. So we realized that the party leader had not even had a minute to mourn his own brother.
So yeah, I guess that makes sense. Najua Buda iko 82. All those things were happening at the same time, and yeah, so that makes sense. Plus now story ya the sister. But wacha tuendelee.
Therefore, as a family, we really insisted that he needed a break, which we made sure that last week on Thursday, he took this break and went to Dubai. He didn't want to go very far. So he's there. He'll be back tomorrow. Though, unfortunately, again, we've had another loss in the family. We have our aunt, our beloved aunt, who is the fifth born in my father's family. She was known as Beryl Ching Odinga. We lost her yesterday in the early afternoon.
So hiyo ilikuwa ni Oburu Odinga akibonga juu ya health ya budake. Malafu on top of that, I think they ended up even releasing a photo of him in Dubai, I think, akiwa na wapandre fulani. And yeah, amevaa hapo madigaga, so, and he's old, so I don't know if to say he looks unhealthy ama looks healthy, hapo siwezi jua. But still tukistick na health, like one of the things that has stories have been trending imekuwa juu ya MP wa Mosop anaitwa Abraham Kirwa. So Moses Kuria alikuwa ameandika, recently a doctor friend of mine from India fell ill while he was in Nairobi. He bought over-the-counter medicines from a pharmacy. We happened to meet after a few days, and what he told me shocked me. First, pharmaceutical products in Kenya cost 10 times compared to other countries. Secondly, the molecule strength is only 10% quality compared to other countries. All countries have healthcare cartels, but in Kenya, the pharma industry mafia owns a country, that is. The Regulator Pharmacy and Poisons Board is a criminal enterprise for protecting cartels. I'm happy for Mosop MP Abraham Kirwa for successful recovery. I now urge him to summon the Ministry of Health to Parliament and ask them what they are doing to track and trace all pharmaceutical products coming to Kenya. So this is what nani alisema Moses Kuria. But yeah, so what was he talking about? Akona bonga jeu MP wa Mosop. So huyu MP I think alipataga stroke alafu akabaki ameishia, and he explains how he was being given some medicine, and this was at Nairobi Hospital, and that medicine was not working the way it's supposed to work. Kumbuka Nairobi Hospital, that hospital that was charging 90,000 shillings for circumcision. Apparently, if other hospitals are using bullshit, they themselves are also using bullshit, and you can't blame Nairobi Hospital for that. That's something that falls under your pharmacy, whatever is it called, your pharmacy and poisons board. But it shows you, if that so-called elite hospital, a hospital for the rich, is using the wrong medicine, ask yourself what happens kwa hizi za huku chini. So wacha tusikize ubuda.
So I was there for 18 days. My heart was going down and down. When I was admitted at Nairobi Hospital, I was at 25% ejection fraction. It went down to 22, it went down to 20, it went down to 18, and it went to below 18%. In a week's time, I was going to die. But some way, somehow, God saw it, that I went to Dubai Hospital, and they told me, and this is something that I want to say. I know that it's very controversial. The Poisons and Control Board, I really want them to look at the medicine of this country. They told me to make sure that I leave all the medicine that I was given in Kenya, and they were going to give me their medicine. They gave me exactly the same medicine that I was given in Nairobi. But some way, somehow, my heart now started going up from below 18% to 20, from 20 to 22, from 22 to 20 to 30, and I was now stable and ready to go.
So Nachikio, so alipatwa the exact same medicine. So what does that show you? The Kenyan doctors were competent enough to know what sort of medicine he needed. So the doctors competent, the pharmaceutical whatever incompetent. So the medicine anapewa, the doctors assume it's going to work, doesn't work. So what does this show? This shows that he didn't need to even take the trip to Dubai, and all that money that was spent on that, because inakuwaga taxpayers' money, was wasted. Why? Because, and this is what pisses me off about this country, where there's always corruption in every sector. Like sector ya kitu kama medicine, alafu ukipata design ati the doctor from, like your story ya Moses Kuria, doctor from India. India is known for generic medicine, and the generic medicine ya India inakuwaga effective. So how is it that somehow we end up with medicine that's not effective? It's just scary, man. It's scary.
And I asked the doctor, why is it that the medicine that you gave me was able to work, but I was going to die in a week in Nairobi? They told me, you need to look at the medication that you have in Kenya. Most of the medication, they have a problem. And I'm asking the Poisons Control Board, because if they can actually give me the medicine that was not working, so many people who have been taken to that hospital have died. Because they tell you that, of course, their service is okay. They bring you tea, they bring you whatever, but their medicine, I want to ask the government and the Poison Control Board to look at it. Because if it's the same medicine, I would have gotten better here in Nairobi. But some way, somehow, the pharmacy and the Poison Control Board needs to be checked and needs to be checked right.
Yes. Unachikia po hata buda mwenye anasema, if the right, he'd been given like the right medicine or the right quality of medicine, then he would not need to go to wherever alienda ni Dubai. And it's sad that we never know what we are getting. We just have at least the medicine that you trust somehow, and usually works. Ni anything that you see made in Kenya, those ones normally work. Utapata if it's painkillers, you take it kama Panadol, you take mara moja, you take what, okay, personally I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but they always work. But kitu yote ile natoka majuu, lazima ujue that there's always going to be corruption. It's like, why do we give them here 100% and tunazapatia itakataka maybe hata isha expire? Who cares? We are going to make our money. Why? Because pia I always say we created this society where it doesn't matter how you make your money as long as you have the money, and there are people who are really exploiting that. So it's very sad kusikia Buddha akibonga juu hiyo, like how close he was to death while being given the right medicine. So what does this show? This shows that now so nini, like wase kama kina majuzi Pharmacy and Poisons Board ilikuwa ina target Gashao, because Gashao was saying he has ways of getting medicine, I'm guessing from outside. Now you see why people go outside, because at least you know whatever you're getting is the real thing. Because here Kenya sasa now it's scary, like everything, and that's the price of corruption. Like corruption corrupts everything, like no sector is left untouched. Medicine, substandard, whatever, ineffective medicine. Of course tunajuaga these other things, come to technology, come to what, like we just end up with a very shithole country. And as we live in this shithole country, you have someone telling us that somehow we need to be praising the president. These things make no sense. Like, oh, praise the president. No, the fish rots from the head. So all this nonsense that's happening, of course, is attached to the presidency. Yes, because if you create a country an environment where we know some of your close confidants are people who had court cases and all those cases have been dropped, and then we have this nonsense, it's nikitunaudhi kabisa. And still talking of the president, kuna hii headline tutashindwa like, damn, hii headline inaendanaje? Na headline ilikuwa ni Sakaja defense city funds shift to CDN Bank, senators query move. Then ikakuwa ni Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja was put on the spot in the Senate over his decision to shift the county's banking services from Tier 1 cooperative to CDN Bank, a Tier 3 institution. Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna pressed Sakaja to explain to the Senate Devolution Committee why the county changed banks, especially for the Facility Improvement Funds, FIF, which support health services nationwide. Sifuna argued that with a portfolio of about 1.3 billion, CDN Bank lacks financial muscle to safeguard county funds, noting that its total assets are valued at less than 50 billion. He questioned what justification Sakaja had in engaging the bank, describing the deal as questionable. So this, unakumbuka nikisema like there's a time that Gachagua talked about banks that are owned by the president, and CDN Bank ilikuwa one of those banks that tuliambiwa. So I guess that's what's happening. It's what I normally say, where I think what I don't like about this country is somehow every deal the president has to benefit, or yes. And why am I saying this? Because I think if Sakaja, because Sakaja is being forced. How is he being forced? He was nearly impeached, and who saved him? He was saved by Raila and Ruto. So if Raila and Ruto save you from impeachment, and then they turn around and they tell you, you know what, yani now Ruto turns around and tells you, you know what, have a bank and you have to bank with the bank, what are you going to do? Most probably utasema, I would not do that, but most probably for political survival, there's something about power that makes people just do anything. So that's the reason why Sakaja alibaki okay, according to mimi na feel nacheki alibaki ameamua like, let's do whatever we want to do, we need to do to please the presidency. So yes, history ya CDN Bank tutaendelea kufuatilia, alafu tunaniaje. Do I think that CDN Bank is going to stop banking nini? No, because now CDN Bank handles Nairobi County, and if I'm not wrong, pia ndio na handle SHA. So you can see even their profits have been rising kabisa. I think I don't know, I saw where, but their profits have risen. I think in the first half ni 1.4 billion. Yes, it's one of the few banks that have made profit. I saw a few banks zimeenda chini. Which one is that? did I see that had gone down, and I was surprised. I think the one that I saw that had gone down, was it Standard Chartered? I found that to be strange. Let me look for that. Yes, ilikuwa by Money Academy. So Money Academy alikuwa ameweka bank's profit performance in the first 9 months. Who's number one? Syrian Bank, upward 470%. Yes, 1.4 billion. Then Equity up 32%, 54 billion. I&M up 26%, 12.7 billion. ABSA up 15%, 17 billion. Coop Bank up 12%, 21.6 billion. DTB up nini, alafu tuendelee kwa watu wa down ni nini. Stanbic down 7.5% to 9.4 billion. Stanchart down 38%. Like, what the hell is going on at Stanchart? Yeah? The only thing nisha interact nawe Stanchart ile sikufurahia kabisa, of course, ilikuwa their money market. It's horrible. Like, they have that money market of theirs that's just, I don't even know what to say about it. Nachukuaga tu, instead of your money market, you'd rather just put your money chini ya kitanda. Like, that's how pathetic it is. But yeah, so Syrian Bank kona shindwa how this 470% came about. This came about because now SHA inaenda hapo, and apart from SHA the county government's money, Nairobi county government's money. But yes, so if there are any doubts, bila time Gachagua alisema that Ruto owns Syrian Bank, is there any doubt in your mind saizi? Niambie jo hapo kwa comments. Good morning. Iko Nini.